Hey cycling community, this is sgrusis, the cycling Greek. What makes one person a better climber over another? Well, this can be categorized into three different areas: power to weight ratio, aerobic capacity, and training. On this team ride, the captain and I on this first climb are leading the pack. While I often try to push pace at the beginning of the climb, this time I thought I'd be patient and just sit in his wheel for as long as I could. This climb is usually between 20 and 25 minutes in duration, 4 miles in length, and averages 6%. It has a false flat section in the middle and a false flat section on top. Mainly due to work, family obligations, and the like, both the accountant and I have had challenges to our training workouts last couple weeks. You will notice throughout this video that the accountant is pretty consistent with his cadence. He seems to be right about 60 to 70 RPM. If you look over at my cadence, I am most comfortable around 90 RPM. Now, when I'm trying to stay on a faster climber's wheel like this, I can't stay 90 plus all the time. At a certain point, I'll start to redline, so then I have to back it off. And so when I back it off, I go to a bigger gear, it goes to a lower cadence, and now I'm using more of my muscles to get me up. Now, that will only last so long, and that when I start to get bogged down, because there's a lot of extra metabolites that are being created from being in that bigger gear, I then have to go to a smaller gear to give my muscles a rest so they don't get bogged down, and then I slow up for good. And so I'm doing this all the way up. I'm riding what I call that fine line between aerobic and anaerobic death. The better in form I am, then the longer I can spend in the higher cadence and the longer I can spend in the lower cadence. The accountant doesn't have to worry about riding that fine line too much. He's got his lower cadence system dialed in, and he's very good at it. With respect to the power to weight ratio, while I know my numbers, I don't know the accountant's numbers. I can tell you that if he and I were the same weight, he would still be stronger on most climbs. As it sits on this ride, he is 10 pounds lighter than I am, and he's got a lighter bike because I do. Not only because of our height difference, but also because of the extra equipment I'm carrying on my bike. Let's next take a look at aerobic capacity and training. While I have specific training plans geared towards specific goals, the accountant does not employ a specific training plan. He does, however, employ the right techniques to his training. When he's training solo, he spends a lot of his time in tempo and steady state pace. So that means he's pushing up his lactate threshold and therefore keeping what I call his upper base strong. On group training rides on climbs, he's pretty much doing what he's doing here, keeping a strong, steady pace for the entire climb. The accountant is now picking up the speed. My cadence has gone close to 100, and I'm starting to get overloaded. I'm starting to redline. So now I'm going to have to downshift to a bigger gear, and yeah, if you see, I'm in the 50s and 60s and 70s. I'm probably standing now to get back onto his wheel. That rubber band is stretching. How long I'm going to last, I don't know. I'm going to try my best. So now, back up to a higher cadence, and I'm back on his wheel. Doing quality intervals on climbs is a great way to improve your climbing. Going with group rides on long climbs is a good way to test out where you are. As it turns out, after about 4 minutes 15 seconds, I finally lost contact with the accountant. I was chasing and kept him in sight most of the way. As it turns out, he finished his climb about 1 minute 34 seconds before I did. And I consider that a good day for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. And remember, comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.